The noise from the laundry room wasn't normal. It wasn't the usual thud of jeans or the hum of the dryer. It was something else sharp, like a scream cut in half. I dropped the wrench and ran. I didn't think. I just pushed the door open so hard it bounced back and hit me. My 6-year-old son, Jaden, was crumpled on the floor, clutching the side of his head, and the dryer door was swinging open behind him. Asterisk Karen stood there, her eyes wide, lips twitching like she knew she messed up, but didn't care enough to. Admit it, asterisk, he was breaking things, she said, her voice flat. I was just stopping him, asterisk, I didn't speak. I couldn't. My body shook like it was deciding between rage and control. Asterisk, this wasn't just any woman. Karen lived 3 doors down. Self-proclaimed HOA enforcer. Even though we didn't have an active HOA, she printed out fake notices, fined people with handwritten slips, and once told my wife her garden flags were against community values. Asterisk, that this was different. Asterisk, you touched my son. My voice cracked. Asterisk, he was inside my garage, she hissed, stepping forward like she was the victim. Your kid sneaks around. He needs to learn consequences. Asterisk, he followed his basketball, I said, barely able to hold back. It bounced in while your garage was open. Asterisk Curran crossed her arms. Maybe if you watched him better, I wouldn't have to, asterisk Jaden whimpered. Blood ran down the side of his face, soaking into his shirt. Asterisk, I looked down at him, ... Then at her, and something inside me snapped. You want to teach people lessons? I whispered. Asterisk, I grabbed her wrist before she could react, yanked the dryer door wide, and in one swift move, I shoved her backward into it. She wasn't hurt, just shocked. Her legs flailed, mouth wide open in disbelief. Asterisk, I slammed the door shut and pressed start. The machine roared to life. She screamed inside, banging against the sides, the dryer thumping harder than I ever heard it before. Asterisk, now you learn consequences. I said, my voice calm as ice, and that's when I saw the blinking red light on the wall. She had cameras everywhere, and they were recording. I froze, not because I was scared for myself, but because I knew what people like Karen could do. With half a video, no context, no truth. Just footage of a black man shoving a white woman into a dryer and pressing start. Asterisk. And that's exactly what she wanted. Asterisk, the machine stopped after 10 seconds. She had rigged it with a kill switch, probably paranoid someone might do exactly what I just did. She crawled out, hair wild, gasping like she'd survived a war, but her eyes weren't afraid. They were smiling. Asterisk, you're done, she whispered. You're so done, asterisk Jaden gripped my leg, still crying. I picked him up, held him close, and started walking. I didn't say a word to her. I knew I had maybe 10 minutes, 15 tops, before police would show up. Asterisk, I laid Jaden on the couch, grabbed my phone, and called the one person I trusted with everything. Asterisk, baby, I said the second she picked up. Corinne hurt Jaden. It's bad. She's got footage. I snapped. Asterisk, there was silence on the other end. Then a deep, steady breath. Asterisk, I'm coming home now, my wife said. Don't say another word. Asterisk, I looked at Jaden. His eyelid was swelling. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From rage I wasn't allowed to show. From the helplessness of knowing that in this country, the wrong headline could destroy a man. Asterisk 15 minutes later, the squad cars pulled up. 3 officers. Corinne was waiting outside like she owned the damn street. Tears in her eyes, clutching her phone like it was holy scripture. Asterisk, he assaulted me. She cried out before they even reached her. He trapped me in an appliance. I have it all right here. One officer walked over to me while the others surrounded her. Sir, he said, hand near his holster. We got a call about an assault. We're going to need you to. Then another car pulled up, not a police cruiser. Asterisk, a black Suburban. My wife stepped out, calm, composed, wearing her old SWAT jacket. She didn't say a word to me. Asterisk just looked. The officer in the eye and said, "Is Curran claiming she was attacked again?" Asterisk, the officer blinked. Again? Asterisk, my wife pulled out a tablet and tapped it twice. She's on record for 5 false reports in the last year. She also filed restraining orders against 3 neighbors, all dismissed. And she's impersonated an HOA official. We have the logs. The real H dissolved 3 years ago. Curran's face drained of color. The officer looked back and forth between the two of them. Asterisk, she has footage. Curran yelled, "He shoved me into a dryer. That's assault." Asterisk, my wife turned to her, calm like a loaded weapon. "And you assaulted a child. We'll be reviewing the footage, don't worry. I've already sent a subpoena request. Let's see what the camera really caught." Curran took a step back. "You don't scare me." Asterisk, I don't have to, my wife said. "But the law does." Asterisk, Curran's voice cracked as she pointed at me again. He's unstable. He shouldn't even live here." Asterisk, the officer held up his hand. "Ma'am, calm down. We'll handle this." But she wouldn't stop. She stormed over to her porch, grabbed a clipboard off the bench, and waved it like a weapon. "This man has violated community codes 3 times this week. Parking across the line, leaving his trash bins out past noon. I posted an official HOA notice on his door yesterday." Asterisk, my wife stepped closer, eyebrow raised. "That's interesting, since you're not on any HOA board. And there's no HOA to begin with." Asterisk, the officer looked over. "Ma'am, did you forge legal documents?" Asterisk, Corin's eyes twitched. "It's not forging if it's what the neighborhood needs. Someone has to enforce the rules." Asterisk, false notices. My wife cut in. Assault on a minor, filing a false police report, and impersonating an official. That's 4 charges already, and we haven't even looked at your surveillance footage. Yet, Karen froze. I could almost see her brain spinning, scrambling to find a way out. "This is a setup. They're framing me." Asterisk, you had cameras rolling, the officer reminded her. "So if what you say is true, the footage will clear everything up." That's when Karen did the dumbest thing I've seen in my life. She ran. Asterisk bolted straight through her front door and tried to slam it shut behind her. Asterisk, the officers didn't even have to force it. They walked in calmly, like they already knew what was coming. Asterisk, I held Jaden tighter, listening to him breathe, letting the chaos swirl around us while my wife handled everything. Asterisk, within minutes, the footage was in their hands. The push, the dryer. But before all that, they saw what she did to my son. She grabbed him, threw him back, slammed the door on him. Asterisk, and when the cops walked out, one of them was holding Karen by the elbow. Her face was white, her jaw locked, and the camera was bagged as evidence. Asterisk, "Sir," one officer said to me, eyes softer now. "Do you want to press charges?" I looked at Jaden, then I looked at Corinne. She didn't look angry anymore. She looked afraid. Asterisk. "Yeah," I said. "I do." Asterisk, the other officer spoke quietly. "By the way, your wife told us who she is." "You're in good hands." Karen's head turned. "Wait, who is she?" My wife walked over and said just loud enough for her to hear, "Special investigations, federal level. You messed with the wrong family." Asterisk, they put Corinne in the back of the cruiser. And for the first time since moving into this neighborhood, it was quiet. Asterisk, Jaden leaned into my chest. His breathing had slowed, but he didn't say much. I could feel the fear still stuck inside him, like a shadow that wouldn't move. My wife knelt in front of him. "Hey, champ," she said gently. "You okay?" He nodded once, barely. She touched the bruise on his temple, then looked up at me. We'll get him checked out. Right now, I just need to make a few calls. Asterisk, she stood, stepped back, and started dialing. The kind of call that doesn't go through dispatch. The kind that skips red tape. She was quiet, but every word landed heavy dot asterisk double quotes yes dot. Child assault dot dot surveillance footage confirmed dot dot. Already in custody. No bail recommendation. Asterisk I'd seen my wife in uniform before. I'd seen her lead SWAT raids, handle hostage calls, even once talk down a man holding a rifle to his own son, asterisk, but I'd never seen her like this, asterisk. This wasn't protocol. This was personal. Meanwhile, neighbors had started peeking out through blinds and cracked doors. Phones were in hands. Whispers spreading. Asterisk Karen, our neighborhood self-declared queen, was sitting in a squad car, handcuffed, shaking, asterisk, and suddenly the lies she'd spread about us didn't matter anymore, because now everyone saw an older woman from 2 houses down approached us slowly. She looked nervous, like she didn't know what to say, asterisk. I'm so sorry, she finally whispered. We all we knew she was difficult, but we didn't know it was this bad. Asterisk, she's been getting worse, another voice said. A man from across the street, but nobody wanted to poke the bear. Asterisk, she put a fake eviction notice on our door last month, someone else added. Said we had too many guests. Asterisk, my wife looked up from her call. Asterisk, she's done more than that. There are 3 active complaints in the county database under her name. False restraining orders, misuse of emergency services. She's cost the city more money than she pays in taxes. Asterisk Jaden stirred in my arms. Dad. Asterisk I leaned down. Yeah, bud. Asterisk why'd she hate us so much? Asterisk I didn't have an answer, but my wife did. She didn't hate you, Jay, she said softly. She hated what she couldn't control. The next morning, the neighborhood was buzzing, but nobody said a word to us directly. Just lingering stares, quiet nods, and 1 or 2 awkward waves that seemed more like apologies. Asterisk. Karen's house was taped off, asterisk yellow lines, official signs. Asterisk and an empty porch. But I knew it wasn't over. People like her didn't just vanish. They looked for cracks in the system, places to crawl back in. Asterisk sure enough, by noon, my phone lit up with a blocked number. I ignored it. Then a text came through, no name, just a screenshot. Corinne, in the back of a courtroom, asterisk face bruised. Not from violence, but from the weight of humiliation. Asterisk the message underneath was short. She's pleading insanity. Of course she is, I muttered. My wife walked in holding a manila envelope. Her face was unreadable. Asterisk, what's that? I asked. She set it on the table and slid it over to me. Deed papers, she said. Everything in your name now. Front lawn, backyard, driveway. Even the patch she claimed was shared space. You officially own it all. County confirmed it this morning. Asterisk, I blinked. Wait, how? Asterisk, she smirked. Turns out the original land plots were never updated when the neighborhood split into zones. Karen was barking over property she never legally had. Asterisk, and now? Asterisk, and now she's trespassed. Multiple times, on your land. Asterisk, I opened. The envelope? County seals, signatures, coordinates. It was all there. Every square foot Karen used to claim control over was mine. Asterisk Jaden ran in, holding a popsicle, already forgetting the trauma like kids sometimes do when the grown-ups around them are strong enough to carry it. Asterisk, but then something stopped me cold. Asterisk. There was another photo in the envelope. Asterisk one eye. Didn't take. Asterisk it was Corinne. Standing behind our house 2 nights ago, staring into our windows. My stomach dropped. Asterisk. Where did this come from? Asterisk, my wife looked me dead in the eyes. Security cam I installed a week ago, just in case. Asterisk, she was watching us. Asterisk, she wasn't just watching, she was waiting. Asterisk, I stared at the photo for a long time. The timestamp said 2:38 a.m. She was standing in our backyard like she belonged there, hands behind her back, just watching. My blood turned cold. Jaden sat on the floor, building Legos, unaware that a woman who hurt him had been lurking outside while we slept. I walked to the back door and locked it, even though I knew she was in custody. Habit, instinct, fear dressed as caution. Asterisk, my wife leaned against the counter. She's been unwell for a long time, but it's not just mental illness. It's control, obsession. You don't wake up at 2 a.m. to stare into someone's home because of noise complaints. Asterisk, so what now? I asked. Asterisk, she's undergoing psychiatric evaluation. Her lawyer's already trying for house arrest, claiming emotional instability. Asterisk, in this neighborhood, I said, eyes wide. This house? Asterisk, no. She said, not here, not anywhere near here. There was a silence between us, heavy, like a storm waiting to return. Then the doorbell rang. Asterisk, I flinched. So did my wife. Asterisk, I stepped forward slowly and opened it, half expecting a reporter, a neighbor, maybe even a private investigator. There was none of those. It was a young woman, nervous, pale, late 20s, holding a folder in both hands like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Asterisk, I'm her daughter, she said. Everything inside me clenched. Corinne had a daughter. She never talks about you, my wife said bluntly. The woman nodded. That's because I left years ago. Asterisk, why are you here now? I asked carefully. Asterisk, she held up the folder. Because I've been tracking what she's been doing. I kept records, emails, documents, threats. I warned the city twice, but no one listened. So when I saw the news, when I saw she was finally caught, I came here. Asterisk, she handed the folder to my wife, who flipped it open. It was all there. Emails to the mayor, screenshots of fake eviction notices, bank transactions, showing she'd ordered real HO at letterhead from a print company. Asterisk, the daughter's eyes welled up. I'm sorry she hurt your son. I know saying that doesn't fix anything, but she did the same to me once. Asterisk, and suddenly everything clicked. Corinne wasn't just a villain. She was broken, and she broke others. My wife set the folder down gently. Thank you, she said. This helps more than you know. Asterisk, she's dangerous, the daughter whispered. And if they let her out, she'd come back. The folder sat on our table like a loaded gun. My wife scanned every page while I sat next to Jaden, who was now asleep on the couch, a blanket pulled up to his chin. I couldn't stop looking at his face. The swelling had gone down, but I still saw it, her handprint burned into the memory of this house. Asterisk, she tried to file power of attorney over her own daughter 3 years ago. My wife muttered, flipping another page. Claimed mental instability. The court threw it out. She didn't just want control, she wanted ownership over people. Asterisk, she's been building this whole fake empire, I said quietly. HOA notices, fake citations, neighborhood rules, all of it. Just to feel powerful. Asterisk, she weaponized legality, my wife added. She learned how to mimic authority so well, most people never questioned her. Just then, her phone buzzed. She glanced down, then tapped her screen. Her expression darkened. She's been transferred, she said. Where? Asterisk, county psych hold, she replied. But the judge rejected the full commitment. They're recommending a monitored release. With therapy. Asterisk, I stood. What does that mean? Asterisk, it means, she said slowly, she could be back in the Neighborhood within a week. Asterisk, no, I said too loud. No way. Asterisk, my wife nodded. I agree. But the system's trying to be compassionate. They don't see what we see. A heavy silence followed, until Jaden's voice broke it soft and sleepy. Asterisk, is the meme lady coming back? Asterisk, I turned to him. Not if I can help it. Asterisk, he blinked up at me, trusting me without question. And that's when I realized ... This wasn't just about Corinne anymore, ... This was about everybody who let her get away with it. The neighbors who stayed quiet. The officials who ignored warnings. The system that gave her the space to grow like rot under paint. She wants to come back, I said, facing my wife. Let her try, but this time we expose everything. My wife smiled, but it wasn't warm. It was the smile she wore during raids. We will, she said, because we just found her biggest mistake. I raised an eyebrow. She forged county stamps on eviction letters, she said, holding up a page. That's a felony. And we've got proof, I said. Proof from her own daughter, she added. Outside, the wind picked up. Storm was coming, but for the first time. We weren't afraid. We were ready. It didn't take long. By morning, the storm outside had settled. But inside that courthouse downtown, one was just beginning to rise. We walked in quietly, me, my wife, and Kieran's daughter carrying the folder like it was dynamite. And in a way, it was. Inside were 5 years of lies, forged signatures, fake documents, audio recordings, and even voice messages where Corinne threatened to remove anyone who didn't follow her so-called neighborhood rules. The DA looked through it and didn't say much until he got to the bank statements. She used city grant money. He muttered ... for sidewalk beautification, my wife added. She got it approved using stolen IDs. And the security patrol. She hired? 2 teenagers she paid in fast food gift cards. The day set the file down and gave us a look I'll never forget. We're not talking misdemeanor HOA harassment anymore, he said. We're looking at felony fraud, impersonation of city officials, misuse of funds, and potentially witness intimidation. Corinne wasn't coming back to the neighborhood. She was going away for a long time. But just as the day stood up, ready to bring in his team, my wife reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out one final item, a USB. What's on it? Hey, footage she didn't know we had, she said. From our internal cam system. Audio of her saying she wanted to finish what she started with the boy. The day froze. She said that? She did. He took the drive without another word, but I saw his jaw clench. Justice didn't have a look, but if it did, it was that. Back home, we sat in the living room, waiting for the news to break. The kind of news that makes headlines. The kind that can't be ignored. And then it hit on every screen, every channel. Local woman arrested for impersonating HOA. Assaulting child and fraud. DA announces felony charges. Jaden was sitting between us on the couch, holding his tablet, watching the news like it was a cartoon. He pointed to the screen. Dad, that's her. I nodded. Not anymore, buddy. Then he asked something I didn't expect. Does this mean ... we're safe now? I looked at my wife. She nodded slowly, then reached out and wrapped him in her arms. You're safe, she said, voice shaking. You always were. She just didn't know who she was messing with. The trial came fast. Curran sat there in an oversized beige suit, trying to look fragile, helpless, like the victim. But the courtroom wasn't buying it. Not this time. Her daughter testified first. She didn't cry. She didn't shake. She just Told the truth, asterisk. She tried to control everything, everyone. She used her title as a concerned citizen to justify harassment. And when she couldn't control me, she punished me. Asterisk, the judge leaned in. Why speak now? Asterisk, because she went after a child, her daughter said, looking straight at us. That's where I draw the line. Then they played the footage, the shove, the dryer door, the fake citations, the security video of her whispering, one way or another, he's leaving. Asterisk, and just when I thought we'd seen everything, my wife stepped up. Asterisk, no badge, no title, just a mother, a veteran, and someone who'd seen evil up close. Asterisk, she didn't just push my son, she told the court. She violated our rights, our safety, and our trust in the very systems she pretended to represent. And if this courtroom lets her walk free, you're telling every unstable Korean out there, you can get away with it as long as you lie loud enough. The room went dead silent. When the judge finally spoke, he didn't waste time. Asterisk, defendant is found guilty on all counts. Sentencing will include state prison time, mental evaluation, and permanent restraining orders. Bail denied. Custody remanded. Karen screamed. Actually screamed. Asterisk, she yelled something about fake evidence, about conspiracies, about how this neighborhood needs rules. As they dragged her out in cuffs, but no one listened this time. No one followed her. Asterisk, no one even stood, because the truth was louder. Back home, neighbors came, but not to gossip, but to thank us, to apologize, to say they finally saw her for what she was. Asterisk, and as the sun set that evening, Jaden sat on the porch, licking an orange popsicle, smiling like nothing had ever happened. Asterisk, Mom? He asked. Asterisk, yeah, baby. Asterisk, are we ever gonna see her again? Asterisk, she shook her head. No, not a chance. Then he looked at me. Dad. Asterisk, yeah. Asterisk, I think this is the best day ever. I smiled and pulled him close. It's the first day, I said, of a better one. Final viral line, asterisk greater than, I didn't fight for this country to be told my son doesn't belong in his own backyard. The end.